Hey, this is the Geek Protagonist. Now let's be clear. It's time for some more Star Wars. Cue the intro, baby. Hey, this is the Geek Protagonist. How you doing? Sorry for the last Star Wars one, but the way the energy was, that's how much energy that movie takes from me. So now, we have another one here that is Attack of the Clones. These are my notes, of course. Um, so one thing I'm going to say right off the bat, Christopher Lee as Count Dooku actually upped this level. Okay, it was like Dracula walked in with his coolness. You know what I mean? Uh, just was. Also, too, I decided that I have so many sunglasses and the light helps even this, even though you can probably see my eyes, this still helps cut it down. So I'm just going to keep rocking different pairs of sunglasses because I have a ton of them. But anyway, yeah, so I just want to point that right off of it. He brought a flair to the film. To me, there was a stint in this movie that I want to get out the way. So it was like when they did the whole, they started like hinting to the Darth Sidious thing, and it was like they kind of started going down the whole path. It was like 40 something minutes in the movie. That part was boring. Just want to point that out there. Like I said, I just jotted notes down as it went. Okay, so the Yoda Dooku fight was sick as hell. All right, there are people who are like, "Oh, I don't want to see Yoda use a lightsaber. He's supposed to be all powerful." Well, and then I seen a couple people. I think Jeremy Johnson, even one of them, that was saying, "Well, they were matching each other in force power." So he's like, "Well, then that goes to show you the lightsaber is there." Well, no. The problem is, at least how I viewed it, is Jedi's have a certain control that they try to have. They don't try to go overboard with their Jedi powers. The Sith, however, do. And Dooku is very, very skilled. And what happened was when they realized that this fight was going to not see an end, or they were going to keep going, they were like, all right, we'll do it the old way. So it's for all those people that are like questioning this, all right, you ever see a movie or something where the guys, they got their guns? Matter of fact, Commando, for example, I think it happened in Commando. But basically, somebody's like, you know what? I'm done with this. Nah, let's just put these guns down. Let's put these blades down. Square up. Let's get it. You know what I mean? That's how I felt that, where he was like, all right, you know what? This is, and I think it was more of a, this is going to take a while. Let's get this in right now. You know, take this lightsaber. Let's pop this and get it going. And when you see Yoda, first off, the way Yoda was moving, and people are like, oh, it looks silly. No, that looked awesome. Okay? The way Yoda was flipping and stuff, I'm like, that's exactly how he should be fighting. See, people are missing the thing. Yoda was using his force powers. Because doing that, when you do the play, if you played like Jedi Outcast stuff, like you can use the force jump and you can like flip with the force jump. So he was actually force jumping. So he still was using it, but he had to change his strategy. Because Dooku had a great counter for him. Also, I had to explain this to somebody. When you see, because they were like, well, it seems like the dark side has more because they have the force lightning and stuff. Now, I can't remember what it's called. Sorry, it's for some reason it's escaping me right now. But when you see when he hit him with the force lightning and he absorbed it, that's actually a light side kind of technique. I think it's called the subsorption. I'm so sorry. It's literally like on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. Watch, I'll be done in the video and then I'll remember. But basically, that is something they can do. So if you actually go through the force abilities, they actually are kind of even. That's a defensive move where that's how sometimes you can see them block some of the lightsabers or the lasers. And you'd be like, town. It's actually part of that. Okay. Now, what was really cool, I did see something, I came across something where they said, like, when they showed the home, it was the actual filming location from A New Hope, where Luke was, like, the exact location from his house and everything, where they built that up. I thought that was awesome. And smart, because then it was like the uncle and them come over there, and it kind of connects it more. Now, I wanted to get some of the cool stuff out the way. There's some things I like, and then there's things that drag this movie all the way down. You know what I mean? Like, it took it down a bit. But I wanted to get some of the cool stuff out the way. I'm trying to think, is there any more cool stuff? I'll probably get to it. Okay, so the thing that hurt this movie the most, where I do see some people like, oh, but it was a good movie. Not really. Um, the reason being, for all those cool parts, it was interwoven into a lot of dumbness. So, for example, the Padme Anakin thing, which was like they forced it down her throat, it was like, I love you. I love you more than what did she say? She said something like I love you more than you'll ever know or more than anything. Oh, like first off, who no, you don't need to do that. I love you sufficient enough. Then it was just awkward and it was so on the nose. It was like I love you, it's supposed to be good, I love you, it's supposed to be good, I love you, it's supposed to be good. I'm like, oh my god, get to the cool stuff. Jeez, at least Leia and Han, when they had their romance, there was other stuff going on. It was like, oh my god. It was like Lucas was like, no, I want to make this a love story because I'm for some reason inspired by Shakespeare right now. And it was like everything stopped and just focused on that. And it was so, because it was so awkward at how they delivered the lines. Now, also too, the deep moments, they felt just like, it was weird because it was like he would say stuff that most women from experiences that I've had and I've known wouldn't respond very well to, but she did. It was like, I did that for you, kind of thing. You know, that was odd. Also, Anakin was whiny. It was like, oh, why, master? Blah, 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 blah. The guy that plays him, he has a good look. Like, I actually think that look is a very iconic look. I know people are like, the movie is Anakin, you're screwed about act. But I'm like, no, he had a good look. And when he was assertive, he was all right. But there were times he kind of just crossed that threshold. I left my order in the room. Oh, well, doing it live. So, yeah, that was there. The action in the movie was good when it actually happened. But you know what? Even when they were doing like the thing in the pit and stuff, it was the road that got to the awesome parts. It's the road that got there was so annoying. It's like you took a walk with really, really bad sneakers on. This actually happened to me in Japan. And all you want to do is sit down and enjoy the moment, but you have to get up and walk again. And it doesn't matter how much pain you're in. It's just like it was so painful that by the time you get there, you're kind of more enjoying that instead of enjoying the thing. It's just, it was kind of like that. It was just like the road to get there was so rocky. But it did have some good plot pieces. I remember seeing the first things to the Death Star to show you how long the Death Star was in development. Also, to me, they were very the Empire and stuff, and all of them had a very kind of they weren't creative. Hence why all of the stormtroopers looked the way they did, and it's like there was enough creation to be there. And I get it, they're the special party, but it was like, but it worked because it was so uniformed. But it made it so that when the rebels and stuff had their clothes, you could think of different people with different colors, different symbols. Like I actually like that dynamic. It was like these were the rebels were a little bit more chaotic, and this was more like that, orderly. But then you saw with this particular stuff, you saw how everything, panned out in that aspect. You did see how Palpatine was manipulating the light to get the power, and like how he was manipulating the council, slowly putting himself in position by kind of playing reverse psychology. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Sometimes they kind of hung on a little too much, but it's still all right. But it didn't like focus on it like it. So what I mean by it was all right. All right. So basically, it kind of focused on it, but it didn't bring it in enough to really draw you in. You know what I mean? It was like okay, and then they went on, and it was like okay, and then they went on, and it was like okay, then they went on. You know what I mean? So it was like that there. It kind of did look at it as such. Now here's something that really got to me. And I know there's people who love this, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna laugh. I I get Boba Fett looks cool, but Boba Fett to me is kind of like I don't. And I have a friend who's like that's his stuff, Boba Fett. I'm kind of like the guy shot some stuff, fell in the Snarlack pit. Did he really do much? Really? Now, there's things later you see Boba Fett, but even in the expanded universe that's no longer canon, he fell in that thing like 3 more times. You know what? Matter of fact, this ain't even about Boba Fett, but I want to use that as an example for a reason. So, Jango Fett. I actually like Jango Fett's look. I thought the video game was cool. I'm not going to cover that, but, the idea of him being a bounty hunter or whatever, like, his look was okay, but then here's where I had a problem. So, this was weird. They did, and it felt like, that's why I felt like Lucas was like, oh, I'm into Shakespeare right now. So, Jango Fett hired people to kill, even though he's a Mandalorian, and you know what they do. But he hired people to kill, and he used worms. Now, like I said, that feels very Shakespearean, but wouldn't it have been more efficient if they were going to use worms to, like, I don't know, stick like gas in the window, like really toxic gas, or maybe a grenade or a bomb, and just right there. I mean, maybe they were trying to make it seem like she died of natural causes or something. I don't really understand, but that's just me. But I did find that weird that Jango Fett, like, there was cool things about Jango Fett, but like the look wise, but I'm like, and I really like Mandalorians looks and stuff, but I'm just like, I want to see Mandalorians do some stuff. Like, a lot of times it feels like they can do a little bit, but then they usually get like annihilated. And it's like, okay, you did the thing with Jango, the clones and stuff, but I just thought that was weird. And I just feel like they're like kind of just there, even though they have these amazing looks and then cool stuff and things like that. I also find it funny because they did the whole Jedi not dating and loving thing, which I'm like, okay. But Anakin came there longer, and also he's feeling something for her. So your way of doing that after the stuff was just no love. But then when they said that, but then there's things like where they're supposed to be detached. You can clearly see through the films, even with like Obi-Wan telling him like this is your lightsaber, and like when he gave it to Luke, said this is your father's lightsaber, and like different stuff throughout the series. It does definitely show that they do hold attachments and care and things like that. So that was a little weird to me. But that's just me pointing out something that stood out. I'm not saying it was the most horrible thing ever. If I'm going to do something with no attachments, I would do it a certain way, but that's just me. Oh yeah, and then they did the thing in the open field after I think he was an attempt on having his life. So they beat you over the head again with the love story, but now they're in an open field where if I'm a sniper and I'm trying to go after her, I could easily just pop her. And they're just having a conversation, and really awkward conversation of love and stuff. But it's like, okay, we get it. There's supposed to be a love. We get it. Are you sure it's not just teen angst and they're just like, just want to get giggity? I don't know. It was just, I don't know. Natalie Portman looked amazing in the role. Like, from the first one to that one, it was interesting how they made her look older, but in a good way. Like, she aged properly, but she didn't. I thought that was pretty cool. And I really liked her look in there. And that she was a capable person. And what I mean by that whole love thing is like when they said, yeah, the profession is forbidden. But yeah, like I said, like he's like, take the lightsaber, yours. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Let's see if I got anything else. So, oh yeah, they had the conveyor belt scene. That was with the extras, I love you, which I thought was weird. The droid, I did like the fact that the Jedi were shown fighting, even though they were fighting cannon fodder droids a lot. It was cool to see them kind of like let loose a bit, because you didn't really get to see that in a lot of the other Star Wars. They did do a lot of the swinging of the lightsabers, and also too, it was kind of like a General Grievous. Why are you here? You're just coughing. You seem like old and decrepit and kind of dying and whatever. And it's like, why? Uh. So the movie had just making sure. Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, I think that was most of my points. So the movie had some highlights, and I do seem to sound very excited because I ate my Wheaties, but but yeah, it had some really, really, like, there were some parts that was like, okay, they're really holding it down here. But then there was other parts where it was like, and there was a lot of parts where it was like, okay, and they still had a lot of political stuff. Don't get me wrong, political intrigue is okay if you do it right, but it didn't flow. But the main thing was the love story. It dragged the entire movie down. So for all the things I said were cool, trust me, way more. Like I said, the 45 minutes on top of everything was like, ah. So, and this movie didn't explain a lot. Now, I know some of you are probably watching this video and you're like, but what about this? I'm talking about the movie specifically, not the cartoon show, just the movie as a movie. So, I'm going to say this because the love story really dragged the movie down to a terrible degree. And so did some of the politics, but they had some really cool parts that I did get excited for when I was in the theater. And I remembered that especially when I saw Yoda fight. At the time, Yoda was my favorite Jedi. He's still up there in my tops of Jedis. Maybe one day I'll go through a list of Jedi. I don't know. So yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I still think, at least right now, off the top of my head, because I was really starting to feel Cal Katarn, and then later when there was this guy Jirag or whatever, but he really was getting to me. So I would probably say, yeah, still my favorite Jedi, actually, out of all the Jedi, probably is still. No, you know what? I've been actually thinking about that, so let me hold that one off until maybe the end. I hope I remember, because it's actually changed. For a while, it was Yoda. I just always liked Yoda, but especially when you got the stories later. But it did change, and I'm kind of in still of a place of where it's at. For there, I know my favorite female Jedi, and actually may become my favorite female character, which that will get revealed, of Star Wars. Even though there's another one that I'm kind of feeling that I'll reveal later. You know what? Let me take a note of that. I actually think what I'm going to do is, once this is done, I'm going to go through. But no, as a female Jedi, I do have my favorite female Jedi. But female character, it's one that's kind of tossed up right now because of certain thing I got introduced to. So, yeah. So right now it's tied between the one I'm actually almost done, Mandalorian. So yeah, when I get to it, I'll let you know. I'll think about it. Hopefully, I remember. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. All right, back to the point at hand. So I'm gonna say that Attack of the Clones, also that name did not make sense because the clones did not attack. So I'm gonna say that that one is a sinking ship. Congratulations, you are my first one that's a sinking ship. You're not hot garbage, but you definitely were going downhill. If that movie had 10 more minutes, you would have been in hot garbage territory. If you love it, you love it. You hate it, whatever. So, post your comments down below. Tell me what you think. And the outro is coming. And I'm going to be covering next Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Get ready. Till next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay real. I'll see ya. Geek Protagonist is out! Hey, this is the Geek Protagonist. Thank you for visiting my channel. Like, subscribe, share. Tell me what you think. You heard my thoughts. And also hit that bell notification so you can be aware of any videos I do. Just click. And just take care of yourselves. Thank you. I really appreciate you coming to my channel. I appreciate you sharing this time with me. Alright? So, the Geek Protagonist is out. And discuss in the comments. Suggestions, anything. See ya.